Hey there, welcome to the 13th Easy jQuery tutorial, part of easyprogramming.net. Let's learn a little bit about AJAX in today's tutorial. I'll do a few videos to go over the different ways to use AJAX, including the different methods that you can do, including get, post, update, and delete. I would recommend checking out my easy JavaScript tutorials on AJAX, where I covered what AJAX is. First is short for asynchronous JavaScript and XML. And there are 3 videos that you can go over. These are pretty helpful in learning the very basic AJAX in vanilla JavaScript before coming into jQuery and seeing just how much easier it makes. So let's get to what we're going to learn today. So what we're going to learn today is just the get method in jQuery. There are a couple of others. I will cover this in future videos. The get method is the simplest form of AJAX request. It is just a get request where you're just trying to get data from another web page, another URL, a web service, etc. And it takes 4 different arguments. Most of these are optional. The URL is necessary. The data is optional. The success callback is optional, and the data type is optional. So you can get the data and just store it inside a variable, or you can actually do stuff with the data in these different methods. So here is a full example of what it looks like. So you'll have a URL. Let's say you're sending it to like easyprogramming.net. The data you'll send, this is the data that you're requesting. So in URLs, you'd see parameters like name equals to Naz, like you're requesting information for Naz, and you would send this in a JSON format. Success callback is a callback function that happens once the AJAX request is completed successfully, and the data type you can send is you can specify as what type of results you'll get back. You can leave this blank and it'll just get whatever it is, whether it's HTML, TXT, JSON, XML, etc. But if you specify this, the data coming back must be that format, and it's a really good way of keeping your language strict, your programming strict, so that anyone using your script knows that the web service that is being called has to be that exact data type. You can also daisy chain some additional methods to it: the done, the fail, and the always. These are pretty self-explanatory, but the done completes whenever the AJAX call has been completed. The fail completes if it fails, so if it doesn't get anything, it'll fail. And always will complete whether it completes successfully or fails, etc. So we're going to look at an example of this where we're just calling just the jQuery page on easyprogramming.net and show you what that looks like. So let's go to the JavaScript, and we're going to do a simple $.get. You can use the AJAX keyword as well. We'll do, I'm just going to copy this, HTTPS, right? There we go. And we'll do a callback function, and that's it. So we're going to need to specify an argument inside the callback function here. It's an anonymous function, and we're just going to call it data. So this is the data that's coming back from this get call here. So we need to do something with the data. Right now we're just going to log it to the console. Nothing special at all, right? Let's update it. You can open up your console. I have a mouse shortcut, so I did that. Ignore that. Let's run it. It says failed to load. So now I have to talk to you about course. So without going too much detail into this, the reason that this failed is because I am on jsfiddle.net and it's trying to request data from easyprogramming.net, and easyprogramming.net does not have jsfiddle.net whitelisted anywhere in terms of CORS, which is short for the Cross Origin Resource Service, right? Something. Resource sharing, sorry. So when you're doing AJAX, normally your script will call data from your own website. So I have a lot of AJAX on my page here. Like this list here is loaded via AJAX via JavaScript. Now I don't have to worry about CORS because it's coming from easyprogramming.net. If you're doing it from across websites, you'll need to enable CORS. And I will link to this Chrome extension here, which enables you to bypass this restriction. I wouldn't recommend doing this for production websites. You should do this only when you're testing, when you're doing dev work, because it can open you up to a lot of vulnerabilities. So I would also recommend just reading up on cross-origin resource sharing CORS and seeing it. There's also equivalent plugins for other browsers, but I'm using it on Chrome. So let's clear this. I turned on CORS. This is green. If I run, there you go. So there was no error, and as you can see, it just grabs the HTML. So all of this is just HTML. So if you view the page source here, like everything you see here, like HTML blank, etc., is what's being pulled, and it's being pulled as is because I did not specify any kind of data type. Okay, so let's cover some of the other aspects of the get method. So what if we want to say, we want certain type of data types? If, let's say if I knew that it was going to be JSON, right? I need to put it in quotes, close this. If I run this, nothing happens. So it said it's finished loading, but nothing happened because it is not getting JSON data. Actually, I think it's still loading. No, it's not loading. Okay, now if I do HTML, because it is HTML, it gets it. There are other types. There's text. It gets text as well. It just gets it as text instead of HTML. And there's also XML, which will not work. There you go. Failure with blah blah blah. Well, that's part of one of these plugins. But it says XHR finished loading, but nothing loaded. So if you're passing this data into another variable, it won't work because it's not the proper format. So you can leave it blank, or you can specify where it is. I'll just say it's HTML. So now let's daisy chain some of these other methods, the done, fail, and the always, and see how they work. So let's actually do done. We'll do another anonymous function. Whoops. And let's do an alert instead of console log, right? Completed. All right. Okay. The thing about cores is that if you're working in JS Fiddle, if you have cores on, it will not update will not run. It'll just keep spinning and then error out at some point. So if you need to save your work, you need to make sure cores is off. A lot of websites have cores restrictions in place for a reason, for security purposes. So if you have it on, like YouTube videos don't work, etc. So if you have browser issues, just turn it off. So I save that. I'll click run. There you go, completed. So after this is completed, so after this has been done, it gives out an alert, completed. Let's do a fail function, right? And the argument that I'm passing here, E, is short for error. So we'll just do console.log E, right? Just log the error. And I think if we just turn off cores and run it, we'll trigger the error. So there we go. So this is the ready state is 0, blah blah blah. It got failed to load, so this is not the error. So we'll do console.log error happened, just to see what that looks like. We'll do update. Let's run it. There you go, error happened. So we know that actually this was the E here, and you can see that it has a lot of properties that you can target when you're outputting your error messages. Statistics is just error, which is not very helpful. But like when you're doing your backend web service, you can definitely customize all of this. So now let's do the last one, which is always. As you can see, by the way, I'm just going to Control Z this, right? I'm going to run it. So as you can see that this alert did not happen, this did not complete. It's because it did not complete successfully. So it skipped this and it went to fail. And now let's do the always right function. Let's do console.log always completes this message. Okay. Now if I update and run this, I'll get the error happened failure, right? The ready state here, and it says always completes this message. Now let's run this successfully. I'll turn the course back on. Now if I run it, there you go, completed happened because it completed successfully, and I have my console log here, right? And it hasn't gotten to the always yet because it's still waiting for me to do something with this alert pop-up. So when I press OK, it says always completes this message down here, right? There you go. I hope you can see that. So these are just a couple of things that you can. This is a very simple form of get. Let's actually do something a little cool and actually output this into our page here, so you can always screen scrape, right? I'm sure you may have heard of this. So I actually have an HTML element called output, right? So we'll do output.html, will do data, because that's what's being passed. I will update this. I'll turn off course, net update. If I run it, nothing's gonna happen. In the console, it errored out, like error happened, like always completes. But we're not gonna ignore that for now. I will turn on course, and then I will run it, and it should grab the HTML from my page here and output it into the right under less practice. So let's see what that looks like. Completed, yes. There we go. Of course, it doesn't grab the CSS or the images or the layout, etc., or any of my JavaScript. So it just looks like a blank HTML, because when you look at the console, whoa, so many errors. It's because it's just grabbing the base page source, the HTML. We're getting all these syntax errors because it's trying to, because I have some JavaScript in my page, like this one, like the var page title and the newsletter and the script.js, and it's and it can't run those because it's not supposed to. Well, anyway, this is just a really long introduction to a very simple get AJAX method in jQuery. If you watch my tutorials on Easy JavaScript, the different ways of creating a basic AJAX request in vanilla JavaScript, you'll know that jQuery makes it much easier. And I would recommend coming back to the next tutorial, where I will show you some other ways of running AJAX, including a post, maybe an update and a delete, using some AJAX methods, as well as a really quick get JSON that I prepared for you. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something in this jQuery tutorial. It was pretty easy. It ran longer than I anticipated. Thanks for sticking around. If you have any questions, please ask in the comments below. Also be sure to visit easyprogramming.net. There's a comment section at the bottom. I am thinking of more tutorials in the future. I'm also working on a meme stack tutorial. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a great one.